Eyup FretHeads. Now, most guitar players would look at these chord shapes and think I'm actually playing different chords. I'm not thinking about it that way. This is the D shape that you probably already know and love. I think one of the problems is the way that we've traditionally been taught chords. We think of them as fixed pictures. Down here is D and up here is something else. In this video, I'm going to show you how that one D shape there gives you major chords, minor chords, and even diminished chords all the way up and down the neck. The same shape, the same fingers, just a different way of seeing what's already there. And once you understand how the notes inside this shape actually move, keys start making sense without memorizing lots of theory. So let me show you how that really works. So what we're doing is we're reusing this D shape, but we want to be able to visualize it anywhere up the neck, and we want to be able to transform it into different chords. So we take this D here. Now the thing to remember is that chords move like notes. So if I've got a D here, what I could do is I've got to get rid of the D string here because I'm just looking for the three notes that are on the G, the B and the thin E string here. And if I just play those there, then what I can do is I can move that shape up a whole step because D and E have a gap between them. Now I'm on the E, and here we have to remember that E and F are next door to each other. And if you know the mnemonic that I use, then that's going to be eggs fried. So we get eggs fried. So that means that's going to be an E, and this is going to be an F. So here's the D in the D position for the open cowboy chord. But if we take that D, move it up to an E, we get an F here. Then what we've not got is the E and F and the B and C thing, which is eggs fried, bacon, crispy. What we've got is we've got the F there, and then we go up to the G. We just know that we have to miss a fret. So now we've got a G. Now if I take that G up a whole step again, that's going to get me to the A. Now I'm on the A, and I go up a whole step again. I get to the B. Now I have to think eggs fried, bacon, crispy. So that's going to be bacon, crispy. That's going to get me on a C. The shape hasn't changed. Look, the shape hasn't changed at all. Now we take that shape there, and then we move it up from the C to a D, and we're back to the D again. And this is where those double dots on the fretboard come in so useful, because we can look at that. We can think, well, this is a D here. And then if I want that D an octave up, I just look at my double dots and I think that's the same as 0, that's the same as 1, that's the same as 2. We're at 2 there, so let's just transfer that shape up here. It's the same one. Now, that is cool. What we've got there essentially is a major triad, but what we can also do is we can modify that triad, and we'll look at the D shape in its original format. So there's the major, and what we do is we know we've got the 5th, the root and the 3rd here. And if we take that 3rd and we take it from being a major 3rd down to a minor 3rd, then what happens is we get a D minor chord. Now the same thing is going to apply all the way up here. So let's look. So we've got a D there. I'm tracking on my B string because I want to be able to see my root note there. There's my root note, because remember it goes 5, R, flat 3, minor 3 is the same note. So we've got that there. So if I move this up here, I know underneath that 3rd finger there that this is an E note on my B string there. So let's play that there. This is going to be an E minor. Now, some chords, like this E minor, I can actually borrow open strings. So if I play this E minor here, then that gives it a bit more girth, a bit more sound going on there. I can't do the same thing here when I move up to this F, but look, still the same thing is going on here. That's an E, that's an F. They just both happen to be minors. So there's E minor, there's an F minor. You might be thinking to yourself, well, how do I play an F minor? Well, this is one way you can play this. We're only using one shape here as well. So look, we've got the F minor there. Move it up again. Here I can see I'm going to get my G minor here. So look, D minor, E minor, F minor, G minor, and I move it here. I get the A minor. Oh, hang on, I've got an open string that I can use. let's just twang that. There we go, we've got the shape and we've got this open string that I know is available there. So I can play that A minor there, move it up 2 frets. I haven't got a B string that's open in the bass there, unless I had a 7-string guitar, then I would probably twang that, but there's a B minor. So we can think of that B minor there. If I move it up a half step there, B and C are next to each other, bacon crispy. There we go, we've got the C minor there, and then if I move it up a whole step again, I get back to the D minor again. So, just to recap, we've got the D major using the D shape, we've got an E major using the D shape, we've got an F major using the D shape, we've got a G major using the D shape, we have an A major using the D shape, we have the B major using the D shape, and then here we've got a C major using the D shape, and here we have our good old friend the D major back in its original position but an octave up. And the same thing is going to apply here, guys. I'm just going to shout the names of the chords instead of saying the D minor shapes. You should realise that these are all just D minor shapes that we're thinking of. So there's the D minor, there's an E minor, F minor, G minor, A minor, B minor, C minor, and then this is going to be a good old D minor as well. 2 main triad sounds. We have a major sound and we have our minor sound. There's the D major sound, there's the D minor sound. But what we can do is we can tie into this idea of how key works. And when we play key, we think of it as being as major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, and then diminished. Let's just tackle the diminished. What would we play, or how would we modify this shape to make it sound diminished? Well, the diminished chord has a flat 5. And if we think about it, what I said was we had a 5th, we had a root, and we had a flat 3rd here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this flat 5 here, and what we're going to do is we're going to lower it. And this gives us this shape here. You can hear there, I'm just playing it on the 3 thinnest strings there. So playing that there, and I would be thinking to myself that is a D diminished triad. So we've got a flat 5, a root, and a flat 3rd. Yes, albeit in an inversion, which we'd need to know because this is good old wobbly bob, sits at the end of the key. And we know, like I said, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. That's why we're putting it in here, guys. You can ignore the diminished if you don't want to put it in there. It doesn't harm to know it. So let's take this key of D major. Another thing we need to remember is the distance between each chord in the major key. It's all well and good knowing that it goes major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, but we need to understand the space in between those chords in terms of steps and half steps. It goes step, step, half step, 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 half step. Or if you want to use the English vernacular, it would be tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Okay, we've got that. So look, the first one, I've got my first chord. And then what I do is I move a whole step, or a whole tone, if you want to call it that. And then what we do is we change it to a minor. Because this is going to follow that formula, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. So let's do it. Major, minor, up a whole step, minor. Then I'm looking at this root note here. I need to go up a half step and change it to a major shape. Then I need to go up a step and change it to a major shape. Then I need to go up a step and change it to a minor shape. Now I've got to change it to the diminished chord. And look, this is where that shape comes in, where I put that flat 5 in. Slide that up to get the note that I want. And then I'm going to lay that finger flat across there. And then what I do is I go back to my good old chord 1. So this is chord 1, which is major, chord 2 minor, chord 3 minor, chord 4 major, chord 5 major, chord 6, chord 7 diminished, and then back to chord 1. Now the cool thing is, what I did there is I did that in D major, but you should practice starting this in other keys. So let me just say, for instance, say I took it here from the F. If we were imagining that this was the chord 1, then I would want to visualise moving that root up here and thinking to myself, that root note needs to go up a whole step, and there's going to be chord 2. Go up a whole step again. There's chord 3. Go up a half step, because that's what happens in between chord 3 and 4. We get chord 4 there. This next chord is a whole step above for chord 5. Then we go a whole step for chord 6. And then what happens is we go a whole step for chord 7. And then we get that half step to land back at that F there. So that was just in F major. This is a movable system. Also worth noting, if I've got that chord 1 there, I can go back. There's chord 7. There's chord 6. So these are all ways of utilising this idea of just playing this simple thing that we think of as being a simple D major shape. The D shape is just one doorway. What actually matters is how we connect these shapes. And the video on the next screen shows you 3 simple shapes that link to this D-shaped idea here to the rest of the fretboard. It's kind of the same system, and it's the next logical conclusion after learning this. And it's actually probably one of the things that your favourite guitar players use all the time. So click there. If you've had an aha moment in this lesson, you'll have an aha moment in the next lesson as well.